I'm just going to email this to people and start. Just going to email this to people and start. Okay, we'll start. We have a hard stop at the end of the hour, so I'll see how I can quickly cover some material. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. We were talking about the fourth chapter now. So thanks for answering the quiz. 27 people have answered the quiz. It's really interesting. The quiz was, what is the purpose of studying Gita? And we have about 19% saying, I want to increase my knowledge. 15% of them roughly said, I like to know what Lord Krishna says. And all curiosity, none, but all the three above, that is item 4, 22%. So, yeah, a number of people, said that the first 4, right? Fifth one, nobody answered that it is fifth. Sixth, 44% of the people said the last one, the sixth one. There are no wrong answers. Honesty is the best principle. We have to be honest to ourselves and then figure out what is the Bhagavad Gita for me? What is the value of Bhagavad Gita for me? So there's nothing wrong here. Thank you for answering. It's just that we want to understand where people are. And I want to share with you a small story. Assume that you are young, very young, and you're like a child almost, and then maybe a teenager or a child somewhere in between, and you come to this wonderful mango grove. It's a really large mango grove, and you see a lot of stones, and there are a lot of kids, your friends are there. They pick up the stones and started pelting stones on these mangoes. They are your friends. You also say, let me start throwing the stones and to get to those mangoes. So each one is aiming at these mangoes. Some people say, do it at 45-degree angle. Some people say, throw towards the green mangoes. Some people say, no, red ones. Some people say, go for the branches because the whole branch will come and all the mangoes will come down, right? So they took bigger stones and started pelting them. And after like an hour, 15 mango trees already had been destroyed, branches were broken. Then what? Then a man comes walking near the grove. He comes and stops at you and says, do you know one thing? This beautiful mango grove was a gift to you from your father. He had invested all his savings and toiled hard to grow the trees one by one. What happens then? Suddenly you get so mad that all these kids are destroying your mango grove, and you take those stones and start beating them up. Why? Suddenly you have the knowledge that all these mango groves, everything belongs to you. And at this rate, you're going to destroy everything you own, everything you have. This is very important to understand. Why are we saying this? The summary is here. Our Sri KSV said once, right? Most people are becoming intellect oriented. That means they want to understand a lot of information, provide a lot of information. That includes me, for sure. There is no doubt about it, right? I'm one of them who wants to constantly understand new things and constantly talk about new things. Very interested in anything buddhi oriented. So seeking more information, giving information, there's nothing wrong, looks like nothing wrong. And all intelligent beings generally tend towards this attitude, right? They get bored if they don't have anything to chew for their intellect. So they're all buddhijivis. All human beings, generally many people are all buddhijivis. Human beings in general are buddhijivis compared to animals. What does Jnani mean for an ordinary person in the world? Jnani means the guy who has a lot of knowledge, who has studied a number of books in his life, and like basically voraciously a continuous reader. He sits in the library, or he has his own library at his home. He starts going through all the shastras one by one and understands everything. That seems to be the meaning for Jnani in general today. What Shrikeswar said is, understanding is different from feeling. Just understanding a lot of information is not really feeling. For example, we say one should not lie. But many people tend to lie. I lie many times. I know that. Hopefully, I'm not lying now. So what it is we understand a lot of things, but we cannot follow them. We don't follow them. Shraddha is at the very initial level, oh, you're interested. That is known as Shraddha. But if the interest is very, very serious, then you act on it. Tvara. That means, oh my God, now I know this. I have to act in a different way. I have to be like this. This, putting it into practice is not easy for most people, not to me. And people are now, many people are not even checking if other people are putting some things into practice. What's the case? We said that whatever we do, we have to do for swatmartham, atmartham. That means for our own self. It is, oh, I am this self. You need to understand fundamentally at all times that who are you, and do some things, do whatever you want for your own purpose, to satisfy yourself. Gita is not a story about a third party, some person, some jivatma, it seems. Oh, what is this jivatma? What is this paramatma? Everything is like a third party. If we do that, that's no good. Because it's about us. You can never escape from yourself and who you are as long as you live. And even after that also, you cannot escape from who you are. You're stuck with yourself. You're stuck with your body for now, for sure. You're stuck with your mind. You're stuck with all the three: body, mind, intellect, and yourself. They're all stuck together as long as you live. And the Paramatma who is within you is not is not leaving you. He's always there. And you know who is the boss. You're not the boss because you often find that you are not in control. You have the ups and downs in life, and you want something, you're looking for something, you're constantly in some kind of search. Human beings always have the sadness, ups and downs, sorrows. So you know that you're not the Lord. That means what? Gita is about ourselves. And we have to eventually cultivate. We can start anywhere. Curiosity is obviously the start. Just know, oh, Lord Krishna is is Lord himself. Why not study about the Lord, what he said? That is good also. All these things are good. At the end of the day, we have to remember, we have to, maybe one day I will cultivate someday that I am really truly an Atman. I will have the knowledge at all times that I am an Atman, and I need to understand this Gita for myself. This is the idea. Hope this is clear. I want to hear something about whether this quiz of any use to you.
It was good to understand why we need to know about Bhagavad Gita. We hadn't thought in those lines.
Yeah, just that Sri Kesvi said, like the whole world is changing. what he says, everybody is becoming only knowledge oriented. It's not how much you know, but how much you digest and how much you put into practice. That's what he wanted to tell us. I just wanted to convey what I heard from him, that's all. Not that I know, or not that I have digested this also well.
That's very nice. Thank you.
The next one, it takes time. So don't become too hard on yourself. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate, it says in Bhagavad Gita. So it takes a long time to perfect oneself. We should start somewhere. In fact, I just came across from a verse from Ramayana. The first, in the very early part, there is this question, who is Rama? They ask, who is the best person on earth today? And when they describe this, they actually described 16 gunas. In all these gunas, I found there was no importance given to brilliance. Yeah, Vidwan is mentioned there, and then Dyutiman, brilliant one, is mentioned. But here the Vidwan doesn't mean the Shastrajna or anything like that. Just only Shastra. Not that Rama is not a Shastrajna, but they talk about Gunavan means a principled person, or a person with virya, or a potentially powerful person. Dharmajnaha, who knows dharma. Kritagnaha, who always remembers what you have done what you have done. Even if you have helped him a little, he will remember that, but he will not remember what wrong things you have done. Kritameva janati iti kritagnaha. So satyavakyaha, he tells the truth only. See how difficult it is. Think about this. Dhradavrataha, you start something, you will finish it. You'll take it seriously, go all the way. Charitrena cha ko yuktaha, who has a unblemished character with no blemishes. Sarvabhuteshu ko hitaha, who always wants the good of everyone. He is nice to everyone. All beings, including animals, birds, everything, he always wants the good of everything, he or she. This Sarvabhuta hite ratatva is the most important thing in a way. What Sri Kesvi says is Bhakti Yoga cannot come to a person who is not a Sarvabhuta hita rata, and this will be explained later in detail. So what? Atmavan, courageous, Priyadarshanaha, Samarthaha, Anusuyakaha, who is not jealous. If you look at all this, you know that importance to just Shastra Jnana. They did not mention Konvasmin Sampratam Loke Veda Vite. Who is the guy who knows all the Vedas? They didn't talk about it. They didn't talk about Pandita. They didn't talk about Shastrajna. Pure intellectual knowledge is not that important. Putting it into practice is very important. Like to put it in Paramahams Yogananda's words, he used to say, most people in India suffer from a disease of indigestion, he used to say. Why? They read a lot, but digest very little. The next, we will jump into we will not answer the other quiz. We will answer the other quiz much later. So we'll jump into the Bhagavad Gita lecture itself. It's already 9:20. Quickly, we should at least finish a few shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. Daivume vapare yagyam yoginah paryupasate brahmagno vapare yagyam yagyena upojihvati. Here, coming to the context of this verse, what it says is, already the karma yoga is explained to have a jnana form. That means karma yoga is of the form of knowledge, jnana. After saying this, Lord Krishna is explaining so many different types of karma yogas that are there. So just how many types of karma yogas are there? So he is talking about Daivame Vapare Yagnam Yoginah Paripasate. So the thing is, we will go into a little bit of detail here. Simple meaning here is some people, Daivame Vapare, some people, Daiva itself, Deva-Yagna, that means offering something to the deities. that itself is a yajna. Right? That is, those are some karma yogis, they do devata archana rupam. That means they offer worship to devatas. Yajnam apare karma yogina, some people do yajnas. So we'll go through this, the Ramanuja Bhashya slowly, but I would like to see summary here because you can go into details, you can study the details. I'll just try to say the summary here. Daivam means worship of gods, and some karma yogis resort to worship of gods, different gods. They are steadfast in that. They are very sincere in their worship. The others offer yajna. Yajna means they use materials which they have got out of just work. And then they offer it to in the fire of fire, and then they do with the appropriate mantras and all, they appease, worship the devatas, worship the different yajna bhavita devatas. Devam devata archana rupam. The another aspect of it is archana. Worshipping is a separate type. Doing yajna is a separate type. So there are different types of homas, yajnas for the worship of Lord. At the same time, there are archana, could be offering flowers and then praising the deities, etc. And you know this. This is Karma Yoga Prakarana. So this is mainly these verses mainly focus on Karma Yoga. See, here the upasana is not the main thing. Performance of Devatarchana is the main thing here mentioned. Karanatraya is important when you do any worship. What is Karanatraya? Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. That means body, speech, and mind. Mentally, physically, and you speak the same thing. And with sincerity, you meditate. This is not mere meditation. Karma yogi basically performs all these worship according to the Shastras. That is the idea here. Yeah, and the yajna is different offerings, the different instruments used, like Strak, Havi and all. He uses them in this yajna process. So in the previous verse, it was a generic verse of Brahma, Agno, Brahmana, Hotam and all this. That was a generic verse. Here specifically, yajna is said as a type of karma yoga. The next one. So here others comment this as Manasa Yajna. That is not what Ramanuja.org means here. Ramanuja.org means it is an actual Yajna here. And the next verse is Shrotradin Indriyanyanye Samyamagnishu Juhvati. Shabdadin Vishayan Anye Indriya-Agnishu Juhvati. This is becoming a slightly different kind of Yajna. That is, there is a fire of restraint. Using the fire of restraint, Indriya restraint, the restraint of the senses, this person does not let the external sense objects take control over him. So it is in a way sense control. That's what is this type of yajna. It is figuratively described as a yajna. It's mainly sense control. Anye Shotradinam Indriyanam Samyamane Prayatante. Anye Yoginah Indriyanam Shaddadi Vishya Pravanata Nivarane Prayatante. So one refers to control of sense organs, and the other is eliminating the tendency of deep involvement with the sense objects. That means try to get away from the sense objects. Here there are no materials for this yajna. They are mentioned as yajnas, but actually these are it's a more like a mental kind of mental restraint, indriya restraint, physical restraint of indriyas. These are explained here. And samyama agnishu, here clearly samyama means control. and that itself is explained as a fire. Here, you have to understand in the Kathopanishad, it's mentioned that Indriyebhyah parahyartaha artebhyascha param manaha. One, that means in terms of control, Indriyas are difficult, but even more difficult is the control of the mind. So slowly you have to control the more and more powerful enemy one by one. So if the sense objects come into, you can completely not stay away from sense objects, right? Obviously. But this person, what he does is, once he comes in touch with a sense object, he will try to understand how to deal with it and how to let it not bother him or change his mind. That's how he practices. So dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. So kama or desire is not bad as long as it is dharmic. It is within the rules and regulations of dharma. That we need to understand. So this is not, because some people might take it as, oh, he is talking about a monastic life with completely run away and then become a monk or something. This is not exactly what means here. Sarvani Indriya Karmani Prana Karmani Chapare Atma Samyama Yogagno Jufati Jnana Dipite. There are other kind of karma yogis. They completely control or offer all the sense activities and also the activities of the prana. Sarvani Indriya Karmani, Prana Karmani Chapare. That means the activities of the Indriyas, that is senses, activities of the pranas, all of them in the fire of mind control. Atma Samyama Yogagno. Jufvati Jnana Dipite means with the Viveka Jnana, with the knowledge, with the wisdom, with the right judgment, they offer all these activities of the senses and pranas to their own mind, which has knowledge. This is the essence of this verse. Here, Atma Samyama Yogagno, the word Atma here means manas. So Atma is a very powerful word. So it can apply to many entities. Here, Atma is better understood that it is actually mind. So here comes a small story. In the Brihadaranyaka 5th chapter, the gods or the devatas, men and asuras, rakshasas, they all come to see Prajapati, that is Chaturmukha Brahma, and asks him, as soon as they come, first the gods come, that is devatas come, and devatas come and say namaskara. They're all camped in separate camps. They don't mix. When the devatas come, the other men don't come. So the Rakshasas also don't come. They want to separately, secretly come and see Chaturmukha Brahma. So first the devatas come, asks Chaturmukha Brahma that they want to learn something important. Then Prajapati says, da. All he says is just one syllable, da. Then the devatas understood. And then Prajapati asked, what did you understand when I said da? They said, Damyate, that is control yourself. You asked us to control ourselves. Why? Because they knew that they were already very infatuated with wealth and sensual pleasures and all those things. They knew what they had to do. They immediately realized, oh my God, da means damana, that is control. Then the manushas, that is the people went, human beings went there. Manushas include just not men, human beings. So human being, then Prajapati, they went and asked Prajapati, and Prajapati said, da. Again, the same word, da. And the human beings understood, oh, we hold on to money, we never give any charity to anybody else. and money is so important to us. We don't even give it to our own parents or children. We try to take them for ourselves. So that da means dana, donation. So the people understood, oh my God, we should donate. We should not accumulate the wealth for ourselves. So they went away. Slowly the asuras, the daityas came. There is a difference between asuras and daityas. Let us say this is only asuras. Asuras came and slowly he said, oh my God, what are you going to tell me? Please tell us. Tell us. Then Prajapati again said, da. And asuras knew that they were very cruel people. And immediately they understood, oh, they have to reduce their cruelty. So, da means daya. Dayadvam means compassion, mercy. So, one has to be compassionate and merciful. So, these three are important gunas. It is said that even that every time it thunders, and I think in Florida, you hear the thunder most of the time because it's rainy, many months it's rainy. What the thunder really means is the gods are telling us, you have to, have sense control, you have to have mercy, and you have to donate. So this Devata, Asuras and human beings, oh, well, we don't have to do the other thing because that belongs to Devatas. We cannot separate this. All the three are important for us because they are gunas within our own life. That's what we have. It's our gunas. This means one should win over kama, krodha, and lobha. Kama is desire, krodha is anger, and lobha is greed. These are the most important things we need to remember. And this is emphasized in Karma Yoga again and again. Dravya-Yagna, the next verse is Dravya-Yagnas, Tapo-Yagna, Yoga-Yagnas, Tatha Pare, Swadhyaya Jnana-Yagnyascha, Yatayaha Samshita-Vrataha. There are other forms of Karma Yogis. They perform Dravya-Yagna. Dravya-Yagna means with the materials, what they have earned righteously, dharmically, they do Tapo-Yagnas. They perform yagnas of nature of tapas, austerity, different kinds of austerity. It could be Kritra, Chandrayana. These are all difficult vratas. They are explained in different Puranas and here and there, but hardly I have never seen anybody do a Kritra, Chandrayana, tapas. Maybe they talk about it somewhere. Maybe they did some things and I don't even understand them. So these are like difficult ones. I don't know much about them. Tatha Yoga Yagna. Yoga Yagna here means not exactly yoga as you can think as in yoga terms. Yoga Yagna here means visiting Punya Kshetras, going into different, Alvar Padasthalams or any kind of temples and all. They are all Yoga Yagna. Here they're mentioned as Yoga Yagna. That is what is the meaning given by Ramanuja.org in the Bhashya. Some perform yajna of the form of Vedadhyayana. So even study of Veda, study of knowledge, the meanings of the Vedas, and then understanding them, remembering them, contemplating, that is also a form of Karma Yoga. Our Karma Yogis can do this also. Right? Yatayaha samshita vrataha. With firm determination, these Karma Yogis do study the Vedas. Here this is explained in the Vedanta, that is Tatparya Chandrika. Some details about this information are given here. This is exactly the same. We read through the Ramanuja Bhashya, but now it is repeated in the Tatparya Chandrika with some clarity. So here Dravya-Yagna means donation. Homas, that is the fire sacrifices. All of them are called as Dravya-Yagna here. Dravya-Yagna means with some kind of materials. So Tapo-Yagna means the Krishna, Chandrayana, and Upavasa, Adivratas. Upavasa, that is not eating for a long time, those kind of things. So this is just some more information is given, not much to really. If you can get the concept, that is enough. So yajna means yaja deva pujayam. So yajna is some kind of worship in general, right? And all this explain some details about this, not very important at this point. So Tapo-Yagna should be remembered as Shastriya Bhoga Sankocha. That means based on the Shastras, you reduce your enjoyments, pleasure. So by controlling the enjoyments such as eating and doing or japa, tapa, or different kind of things actually. So just we need to remember that's as per the Shastras. This is not like a hunger strike to get some political agenda done or something. That's not considered as Karma Yoga. So this is Karma Yoga. So we should remember one thing, one sentence from Yamunacharya's Gita Sangraham. Karma Yoga tapasthirtha dana yajnadi sevanam. So Karma Yoga is tapas of some kind. Tirtha means Tirtha Kshetra, that is pilgrimage. Dana is charity. Yajnas are different kind of yajnas. All these things are types of Karma Yoga. The next verse is 29th verse. Apane juhvati pranam prane panam tathapare pranapana gatirudva pranayama parayanaha. There are, it seems, there are 5 types of pranas within us. Prana is not exactly breath. Breath is the effect of prana. Breath, we think that just breathing is prana, but it's something different. It is internal, some kind of prana shakti. That shakti, the physical manifestation of that shakti is in the form of breath. And in our body, we talk about different kinds of airs, apana, prana, vyana, samana, udana. These are all different. This is known well only to yogis. It's hard for us to understand exactly how you control these different pranas within us. If we're going to take both verses here, apate apare niyata haraha pranan praneshu jishvati sarve pyete yajna vido yajna kshapita kalmashaha. These 2 verses refer to a kind of karma yogi, a set of karma yogis who basically work on the control of prana in different ways. And that is very valuable because it leads them to spiritual progress. So pranayama, we talked about pranayama. See, while doing Sandhya Vandana, pranayama should be done properly, but many people don't learn pranayama the right way. They will say the mantra as oh, I'll do it quickly. No, quick, obo. Then they'll just do it something and go away, right? What here it is, it's something deeper, something very sincere, where you understand how you do it, why you do it, and what is the value. And then this practice is like, one has to be sincere to do it as a part of Karma Yoga. By the way, Sandhya Vandana is not a part of Karma Yoga. That we will come and talk about it later. But so for Karma Yoga, separate pranayamas are necessary, I think, and that is different. Restricting food intake is a common actually. So offering apane jhvati pranam, offer your prana into apana. Tatha prane apanam. In the same way, the reverse. Apana in the prana. Apare, they control the prana apana gati. Prana and apana, they control the inhalation and exhalation of breath, and also internal pranas with it. Praneshu pranan juhvati. So these are all different kinds of activities which are Karma Yoga. So in Karma Yoga, they talk about in the Pranayama, they talk about the 3 types of pranayamas: Rechaka, Puraka, and Kumbhaka. Rechaka is filling, that is inhalation. Puraka, wait a minute. Puraka is inhalation, Rechaka is exhalation, Kumbhaka is holding it in the tummy, they say. That is the breath. This is a rough way of saying it, but really speaking, in each of how long you keep the breath, how long you do this, these are all parts of yoga training, and it's not easy to really understand unless people, a powerful yogi can teach us. So, all these, while doing pranayama, you should not have much food intake. The food should be very low, or probably niyata ahara, have very little, just enough for your body to you have, you know, to have the mind and the body in the right condition to do all these karma yogas. Prana is that which moves up. So making it to go down is puraka. Exhalation is rechaka. So whatever is going up, you bring it down, that is actually puraka. Obviously, you know, there is no point going in deep into it because these are all physical practices, right? So the thing is only somebody, we assume that some yogi has taught this and this is how it is to be done. So the other problem is there is a small story here, right? Apare niyata ahara ha. See, this verse is very important. Niyata ahara means intake. Intake could be anything. Eating is also intake. Eating, drinking is also intake. Also, intake of external, watching a movie is an intake because you're feeding information through senses to yourself. So touching, eating, all these things have some kind of intake of experience, sensual information or any kind of other information, right? So regarding this intake, there is a small story here in the Aitareya Upanishad. Aitareya Upanishad 1.2.1 and 1.2.3. After creating humans, Ashanaya and Pipasa came. Ashanaya means hunger, Pipasa means thirst. So these two, there are entities for some, you know, think about it, they're actually some kind of entities. So hunger and thirst came to Brahman and said, show us a place where they have enough to be happy with, right? So then Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma said, okay, I'm going to bring you a cow. You can eat this cow or whatever you want to do. Here is your cow. And Navai Noya Malamiti, no, that is not enough for us, they said. And then they brought a horse. And again, they said, no, it's not enough. Then they brought a human being. He said, okay, take this human being. If you're not happy with these animals, go take this human being. Then they said, oh, Sukritam Bata, you did the right thing here. We really like this. What does it mean? Hunger and thirst trouble people all the time. Human beings eat and drink, even if they're not hungry, they keep on eating and drinking. And they will say, okay, someone forced me and so I ate too much. So why that is why in the Karma Yoga, in all this, they first say you have to control your intake. Niyata ahara, whether it is your senses or to your body. Control it. And this is very fundamental. Ahara shuddho sattva shuddhihi. That means eating the right food gives you the right mind, because the food will convert itself into, a portion of the food will convert itself into your mind. So to have the right mind, you should have the right food. Karma Yogi has to have control of intake of food and sensual information. So So, ete sarvepi yajnavidaha. All these karma yogis are yajnavidaha. They know what is yajna. Yajna shapita kalmashaha. That means they have washed their sins by doing yajna. So sins are constantly being washed by doing all these yajnas. That's very important. Yajna shishta amrita pujaha means they partake, they eat. They only what remains after some kind of sacrifice. So that's very important. That is why in an ordinary home, even now we say aradhana is what? Worship of the Lord, and eat only after you do aradhana. And whatever people, at least in sincere people do it, right? So whatever is remaining of yajna is not food, it is amrita that will not push you into mortality, that will make you live, that is eternally valuable to you. That's why it's Brahma Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. They reach Atmaswarupa. They can attain the pure Atmaswarupa, the nature of the self, by doing this kind of karma yoga. Yajnashishtamrita bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam nayam lokosti ayajnascha kutonyaha kuru sattama. This is the next verse. Wow. Okay, I finished off this verse. We will take that next verse later. I'm going to leave about 10-15 minutes for some kind of question and answers. If you have any discussion, whatever you're interested in. You can ask any questions. So if you want to come back to the quiz, I asked about different kinds of, we can come to the quiz later because I need to position it properly.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why is Sri Krishna bringing karma yoga again in chapter 4 at this point in these 3 shlokas?
So the question is, why is Sri Krishna talking about karma yoga in the chapter 4, right?
Yeah.
Chapter 4, the summary of chapter 4 is the jnana aspects of karma yoga. Okay, all these karma yogas have a form of jnana within it. See, that's what we said earlier, right? Any karma yoga has jnana inbuilt in it.
No, right. But these 3 were to do with yagnas and, prana. So that's why the question.
There are different kinds of karma yoga. Even pranayama and everything, there's kinds of karma yoga. That's what you said. I don't understand your question.
I guess what I'm trying to say is instead of talking about the jnana aspects of karma yoga, why is he focusing only on karma yoga, different types of karma yoga?
No. See, he has already focused on jnana aspect of karma yoga in some ways in earlier shlokas, right? Because Brahmarpanam, Brahmavihi, Brahmagno, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmahi Vatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhana. At the end of the day, different types of everything is an effect of Brahman. And in this yajna, at the end, he will get the Jivatma Swarupa. That means he will attain Jivatma Sakshatkara, right? So in earlier verses, where can we go? In earlier verses, there are several verses where the jnana form of karma is already said. I can quote it, but if we go for wait a minute. I can find the verses earlier in 4th chapter itself where it talks about karma has jnana form. We can look at it, but there is definitely right before he did talk about karma has jnana form. That he has already said. Now he is only saying what types of karma yogas are there. See, for example, there is a mixture of information. Even if you say karma yoga, he is not saying that this karma yoga is purely activity, right? It has knowledge inbuilt in it. So this pranayama and everything like that, pranayama has mantras. So the thing is, pranayama is not physical. It's not purely like a ashtanga, different kinds of yoga, what they teach in yoga schools or in Vikram yoga centers or something like that, right? They're not pure activities. Of course, the common people have done it as a pure physical activity. It's just like exercise, just like running around and things like that, right? That's not exactly karma yoga. These, even though they're mentioned in this way, the method of doing it and then what you keep in your mind, how you control your mind, all these things are different, and that's a part of karma yoga.
Thank you. That answered my question.
Okay, any other question?
Krishna, if you have time, we can talk about the Nitya Karma is not really part of Karma Yoga. It is a foundation for any kind of yoga. If you have
See,
time.
that comes in the next verse itself. When we explain the next one or two verses, karmajan vidditan sarvan evam jnatva vimokshase. The next verse itself is about that, Nitya Karma.
Yeah, okay.
So we can talk about it when we get to the next verse.
Okay, Krishna.
Okay. You know what? I had some additional slides. Maybe I wanted to talk about it because I want you to think about this. This is a very important information. See, what is meditation? All right. When people say I meditate on something, if you know the object already, that's how you can meditate, right? Because you will remember the thing, that particular object continuously. So, for example, I want to meditate on an apple. Yeah, I have seen an apple, so I know what it is. Then I meditate. And here, okay, I want to meditate on Lord Srinivasa. Then it comes, are you seeing Lord Srinivasa himself? Or a Archa Murti of Srinivasa? You're only seeing an Archa Murti of Srinivasa, not Lord Srinivasa. You can meditate on some of his gunas and say, oh, I know this is the guna that I want to meditate. But guna is not concrete, right? So you only see physical things, objects, and you still meditate. So how do you meditate on Jivatma? Because you cannot see. I mentioned in the class a quiz. When does Lord Krishna talk about a vision of Jivatma? That is in the second chapter. In the second chapter, Tada Yogam Avapsyasi, he says, right? That is before the Sthita Prajna. Let me just see what the shloka is. I don't have the Bhagavad Gita Pushka in front of me. Here. Okay. Shruti pratipannate yada sthasyati nischala samadho achala buddhi tada yogam avapsyasi. In fact, one person mentioned in the class that, oh, he mentioned about the Sthita Prajna verse. Actually, just before that verse is Shruti pratipannate yada sthasyati nischala samadho achala buddhi tada yogam avapsyasi. When your mind is still, after learning clearly what the Shastras say, when the mind is still, achala buddhi, that means your intellect is focused and steady in your mind. Tada yogam avapsyati, then you will get the vision of Atman, Jivatman. See, that's not an easy stage. But why I brought this is, you don't see Jivatma like an apple or even like an Archa Murti. You don't see Jivatma. You see Jivatma in a very different way while you do yoga. So many people think that, oh, Jivatma Sakshatkara is very easy or something like that. So it's very hard, number one. Number two, that you don't have an image to meditate on. It's hard. So for knowing myself, meditating on myself means what? Thinking about what I did, what I didn't do, how I acted, how I thought. That's the only thing possible for us. So think about how difficult meditation on Jivatma is. So whenever say, whatever I thought or whatever I did or whatever I acted about me, all these things are not my Jivatma. Jivatma is something hidden. Because we don't know whether it is the mind or my ego. So the separation between Jivatma, mind and ego is very difficult. So this Karma Yoga, this Jnana Yoga or anything is extremely difficult. Just wanted to let you know about this. But we'll come to the next verse later, or next portion of it later. I just wanted you to have this idea of how hard focusing on the Atma means. And getting the vision of the Atma is so difficult. Any more questions?
No questions, Krishna. It is
Okay.
very thought-provoking.
Asmat Paramagurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarvagurubhyo Namaha, Sri Lakshmi Nrsimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Sri Lakshmi Hayavadana Parabrahmane Namaha, Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hope these classes are of some use.
It is, Krishna.
Okay, namaskar.
Thank you.
We'll continue next week.